Hi, all Social Work 406 students. This week we're covering information from Chapter 3 in your textbook, Group Skills for Organizational and Community Change. Our goal is for change at the community level. Change at that level requires skills that are in addition to what you've already learned when working on a micro level. It involves working with others to affect change. The same skills are used whether you're working in the community, as we will with a project, or you're working within an organization. So what skills do you need to be a good leader when you're working in an organization or a community? You need to be able to first identify when there is a need for change, social change. It could be a change in a policy at your agency, some procedure, or programs, or it could be a need to create a whole new program or intervention. You need to have the ability to inspire others and provide a vision of what's possible. You need to be able to communicate that vision and how it's attainable in a clear way. Good communication skills include the ability to articulate your ideas and to listen. When we start working on the group project, everyone will have great ideas. But when you collaborate, you listen to everyone's ideas and come to an agreement. Some will emerge more as leaders. We expect those leaders to lead by example. And other skills are the ability to bring new knowledge and skills to the workplace or the community project. There are additional leadership skills that are helpful. You need an ability to use self-awareness, self-disclosure, and purposefulness. This is the reason why we've done work over the last few weeks to help you get to know yourself better. You need the capacity to understand and work with the media. This may be needed if you want to build support in your community. If you want more information on working with the media, there is more detailed information in a later chapter. You need the ability to work with a task group. This involves the ability to develop and maintain the task group's work schedule and attend to the social emotional aspects of the group. You should also remember that you may have power within your group, and you need to be able to exercise that power responsibly. But remember that power is not the central theme of leadership. Utilize a reasonable amount of assertiveness and be able to deal with conflict. These are some of the things we've gone over in class. So be wary of your conflict management style and how assertive you are. I have not had a semester yet where the groups didn't run into conflict at some point in the community project development phase. Now you can also utilize skills to work in an organization or with a group. These skills include the ability to work on a team. When you're working on a team, you need to be able to set clear goals, solve problems, collaborate together, commit to the goal of the group, and understand different members' roles and expertise. In particular, when we start working on the group project, we'll review your personality types and problem solve any conflict that may arise so you can work better together. You also need an ability to plan and conduct meetings. We'll show more detail here. For instance, how to use Robert's Rule of Order. And you'll need to learn how to manage conflict. Everyone's done a great job on their assignment where they viewed the video of a supervisor and used assertiveness and conflict management skills in that scenario. I can tell you that in every job I've had in healthcare, I worked on an interdisciplinary team, and I had to be able to work with individuals that were from different professional backgrounds, and these skills were used every day. You should think about how to run an efficient meeting. This will come in handy when we get to working on the community project. Each day that we spend in the classroom working on it, treat it like it's in a meeting. Start the meeting on time, state the ending time ahead of time of the meeting, let people know how much time they can have, set out tasks and keep your group on target, end on time, and task out what you'll do at the next meeting. One way to run an efficient meeting is to prepare an agenda. An agenda lists the topics to be addressed at the meeting in a prioritized order. It also includes the time and place of the meeting and participants. You can create an agenda before each work day for the community project. Being a team member on an effective team. Research shows that effective teams share some common characteristics. For instance, they set clear goals. The goals should be considered worthwhile. There is a saying, if you don't know where you're going, you'll never know when you get there. When you set your goals, each member must also believe in those goals. You need commitment of all members. You also need a collaborative climate, or one that has trust and respect, and a mutual feeling that all are committed to the goals. You need to set forth some standards of excellence, meaning that everyone buys into the project and the goals and holds each other accountable. You also need to use information-based decision-making. In particular, with your community project, part of the assignment is to research the topic or the social problem of microaggressions and base your intervention and your research, your study, on the information you find in peer-reviewed journals. Additional effective team characteristics include principled leadership, meaning that the leaders of the group, which I've always seen that they tend to naturally evolve, particularly now that you know yourselves better and you've reflected on your strengths and weaknesses. A principled leadership model gives a consistent message about the role of the team, gives members the freedom to take risks in pursuit of excellence or to come up with new ideas and to try them out on the group, and focuses on the accomplishment of others. You support each other as a working team. Some final characteristics that are helpful are the ability to provide constructive confrontation or critique without criticizing. To do so, here are some things on the don't list. Don't criticize anything that can't be changed. Don't criticize past mistakes. Don't hurt the other person in a subtle or obvious way. And when you must say no, don't feel guilty. These are all things that are part of working on a collaborative team. Some of the do things are, do suggest options that give others choices in bringing about the desired change. Do build from strength. Identify what is already right and build on the positives. When we come back together in class, I want you to think about what you listed on your reflective paper as your strengths. Do remember that people usually criticize themselves, so you don't need to be too hard on any of your classmates. Do remember that people recognize and are sensitive to their own mistakes and can self-correct. Do offer hope for the future. Some final points on dealing with conflict. Why is it important to recognize conflict in the macro setting? I have found that the ability to mediate and navigate conflict is a very valuable skill that social workers possess. Helping differing parties present their perspectives, using good listening skills, and searching for a common ground between them is a skill you can utilize on a daily basis. And lastly, realize that conflict is a normal developmental phase in most groups. This is something you're probably talking about in Social Work 305. A few steps to manage the conflict, in addition to what you've already learned, is to seek clues to conflict. Don't ignore it and anticipate that it will go away, because it usually won't. It just worsens. Define the conflict as a group. So bring it out in the open if your group is having trouble. Listen to all points of view and recognize similarities and differences. Employ active listening skills, right? Use of reflection. Clarify ideas and positions when they are unclear. Avoid win-lose situations. Work for cooperation, not competition. Sometimes we have to have like a referee in the classroom, and that's their role and that's their strength, that they can help the group come together. You want to address both emotional and objective aspects of the conflict, and always look for areas of agreement and common ground. Focus on interest, not positions. Advanced conflict management involves more of thinking about power of group leaders or members of the group. What kind of power do they have? Always assess your power and that of your opponent or adversary. Avoid full disclosure of your power. You would never say, well, I'm close to your boss, so I have more power. Something like that. Think of it like playing poker. Your adversary may assume you have more power than you actually do. Always use power sparingly and use only as much as needed to achieve your objective. Understand, as a final point, that organizations and communities require that you appreciate the difficulties you may encounter and you develop the skills to deal with them. Know yourself so you can know others. At the end of this module, we're ready to move into the actual second step of the plan change process, with reflection being the first step. Engagement involves an exchange between two systems. It's an opening up of boundaries on both sides. It is acceptance and it is vulnerability. It is giving great thought to the problem. Microaggressions is our problem. Taking into consideration one's feelings as they are influenced by the intersection of their history, possible discrimination in their life, their ethnic and racial identity, and one's sense of their own life story. Remember, engagement is absolutely necessary for change to occur. So let's get started.